All right, so Nike's one of the greatest sportswear companies of all time, but that doesn't mean that they stumble and fail a little bit along the way. Nike has tried many different things to stay ahead of the curve or to actually just play catch up. Here are 5 examples of Nike sneaker technology that just didn't work. Before we get into this top 5, this video will be sponsored by the GLD shop. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. It's actually one of those websites that I've seen pop up on my feeds here and there, and I was always kind of interested in what they offered, and when they reached out for a promo, I was like, absolutely, I wanted to check this out. So I actually got 2 chains that I chose. The one that I'm wearing right now is a 20-inch gold-plated micro Cuban yellow gold chain. Really like the look of this one. It's really simple. I love the Cuban link and the fact that it's micro, just not overly ridiculously big, but it's actually a really nice look. Just very clean and simple. I also got the 18-inch 14 white gold plated rope chain as well, but that one is a little bit too snug for me, so I'm actually going to give that one to my wife or my son. My son wants to actually wear that one. It looks pretty good on him. But the chains that I chose are just really simple, kind of just complete the look. It's just a nice little accessory thing that you can add to your outfit for not too much money, and it just really helps complete the whole profile. My favorite way to style this thing is just with a black t-shirt and just jeans or sweats. Honestly, I'm living in sweats, but they have a huge variety of different types and sizes. They also have a bunch of pendants on their side that look really cool. Sports teams as well as like Marvel pendants, and so they have a really nice selection out there for those looking to accessorize and just have something a little bit extra. Gold was founded on the idea that everyone should be able to afford high quality jewelry pieces that deliver confidence and help complete your look. Made with real gold that is built to last, and their manufacturing process and attention to detail is the best in the game. They do offer a lifetime guarantee on all purchases. Pretty nice. GLD has also collaborated with celebrities like Wiz Khalifa, Justin Bieber, A$AP Rocky to complete your look. If you guys want to use my link in the description, it'll save you 33% off of your order and enter my promo code HES. So number 5 spot on the list, we have Nike pump technology. That's right, Nike actually had pump technology in their sneakers back in the early 90s. Obviously, Reebok started the pump wave back in '89, which featured the revolutionary tightening system for your sneakers that pumped air into the shoe to provide a better fit. Everybody pretty much remembers and still remembers that Reebok pump basketball on the tongue. It still actually is a pair of sneakers that gets retroed today. Even last week, they released another colorway of the pumps, so it's something that is still retroed and still is relevant. In 1989, though, Nike wanted a slice of this pie, and they created their own version of the Nike pump technology with the Nike Air Pressure. This featured a pump that actually attached to the sneakers and allowed them to pump up the shoes for a better fit, but honestly, it wasn't very impressive, and who wants to carry an external pump around with them everywhere they go to pump up their sneakers? It just wasn't very functional. Nike also released 2 other pairs of basketball sneakers with the pump technology before ditching the technology altogether. They are the Nike Air Command Force and the Nike Air Force 1 High from 1991. Both of them were made popular from the San Antonio Spurs mega star back in the day, David Robinson. Love that guy. And 2 of the 3 pairs of pumps actually have retroed, the Pressures and then the Command Forces, the Billy Hoyles or whatever you want to call those from White Men Can't Jump. And this is actually the 3rd pair that never retroed yet. This is actually the 180 Forces, the high top version with the pump on the side and the release valve. I love this shoe, man. Absolutely crazy. One of the best conditioned shoes from like 91 to date that I've seen. Really, really nice. But any which way, this is the one that kind of ended the era of the Nike pump. Fantasyland. It just didn't end up working out for them, and that's why I consider it a failed technology. Moving on. Number 4, we have a technology that is tried and true and then also forgotten about, but then retroed back again still to maintain some sort of odd relevancy. Any which way, we have the Nike Shox. They released in 2000, and the Shox finally became a reality after many years of waiting. Bruce Kilgore actually designed the Shox, but originally the concept was from 1984. The inspiration supposedly came from viewing indoor track sprinters, and they appeared to just bounce after impacting the surface, and that bounce back just kind of gave them the idea of the Shox, I guess. After testing a variety of different types of materials, polyurethane is actually what they ended up creating the Shox stacks with. They actually debuted in 3 different versions. They had the R4 for running, they had the BB4 for basketball, and then they had the one that's often forgotten about, but the XT, which was a training sneaker that honestly was really my favorite looking shoe, but they got recalled. I believe it was because of some of the material was like water soluble. I still want to remember that being the truth, but honestly, it's like one of those things that I remember being close to campus, and I don't really know what the reality is. If you guys do know, leave a comment in the comment section, but that's what I remember any which way. I'd love it actually for them to bring them back again, because it's actually really fun, foamposite-esque Shox sort of looking sneaker. Nike Shox, though, did have a decent run, and especially with Vince Carter having a signature basketball line to help propel the gimmick. As you can see, Supreme actually released a Nike Shox collaboration just recently this year, which is nuts, but it's pretty much a dying breed. You don't see Nike Shox too often. They tried to revive it. It didn't work. With all the super foam and carbon fiber plate sneaker market, like honestly, that's really taken off because that's truly functional and something that is actually legitimate versus that pipe dream of what the Nike Shox were supposed to be delivering. This one can be be argued that it's still successful because they had a nice run. They made a lot of money from it. I get that, but it's not something that they still carry today. Meanwhile, they have the older technology, the Nike Air, in the Air Max retroed all the time, and it's still like a hot selling shoe. I guess I feel like this one is just not as hot as selling as it probably should be, and then the revised version just never stuck. Number 3, we have Nike Plus. Do you guys remember this? In some running sneakers, they actually had the little dongle that fit inside of the running shoe, and you could actually take it out of one of the running shoes in the midsole, put it into another one that was Nike Plus compatible, and you can run around and check your miles and all that stuff. Pretty successful run they had with that. However, they had a newer version of that they were trying to take it to the next level, and it just did not end up working out. So in 2012, Nike entered this digital space again with a new app, and it tracked metrics for running and training and jumping for basketballs. It was supposed to track how high you jumped and all this other stuff. The bottom line is it really just wasn't very functional. It didn't work the way that it was supposed to, and it was very, very expensive. I want to say that the LeBrons were upwards of $375 for this technology built into it with the app that you could use, but they actually originally launched with 3 other models: the Nike Hyperdunk Plus, the Lunar Hyper Workout Plus, and the Lunar TR Plus. All had high hopes and even higher price point with that $235 and up. The problem, I just really don't think that the app and the technology was as good as the concept. The performance technology just didn't work as well as it should, or if it did, it didn't have like the mainstream audience behind it because it's kind of like a niche product. Being that it's a pay-to-play sort of thing, you have to have the shoes, you have to have the app in order to make the thing happen. You can't just wear any sneakers, stuff like that. But any which way, it was a cool idea that really just came and went. They went full force ahead with a lot of this new fancy technology stuff, and then it just went away. I think that Nike Plus integration in some of the running sneakers definitely had a really nice run, but I feel like it's definitely ran its course, pun intended. That was a bad one. So moving on, number 2, we have a technology that's still relevant technically right now, but it's not one that I think people are seeing has a very bright future, and that is the Nike Adapt technology. I wanted to love this technology. I do love this technology. I think I love this technology. Ultimately, the Nike Adapt technology kind of fell short from what was, I guess, perceived as something that we thought we needed. And this is mirrored after the Back to the Future 2 Nike Mags, Marty McFly on the hoverboard, self-lacing sneakers that really in the movie never even self-laced. There was a dude behind the camera pulling the laces, but obviously they never developed that back then. They did release a Nike Mag years later, and it did not have the self-lacing sneakers the first round. The second round it actually did, and the price tag was absolutely ridiculous on those. Of course I would love to have a pair of those, but it's just never going to happen. So this is supposed to be the next best thing, right? Well, unfortunately it fell flat. So in 2017 they actually released the Hyper Adapt 1.0. First self-lacing sneaker to really be on the market. Where could this go wrong? Well, the price point was $720, first of all, and that's a pretty big chunk of change, obviously, for sneaker people. But the other part of it that I found out after I got a pair of them and then wore them and realized these are not comfortable. Like it was not a comfortable pair of sneakers at all. So that wasn't the desired result. The other thing is when you put the shoe on, the laces are a little bit loose. Then you have to use an app, or you can use the button on the side of the shoe and actually tighten the laces. But it went from like loose to snug, but it worked, but it wasn't like having really loose laces and then putting them on. I don't know how to describe it. It just was not as glorious as we thought it would be. At the end of the day, I still really liked what they delivered. They've actually had 4 different versions released with the Adapt technology. The first one was the Hyper Adapt 1.0. The second one was the Nike Adapt BB, the basketball version, which actually I really liked. Then the third one was the Nike Adapt Automax, followed by the Nike Adapt BB 2, or I don't know what they called it. Any which way, it's a second version of the Nike Adapt for basketball, and it's fun. And I have the mag inspired colorway version, which I like, but I also don't really love the idea of having a dedicated space in my sneaker room. Obviously you can see it's kind of crowded, but you have to have a dedicated space for the charger. And by the way, the price point is $350 on the current version that is available today. But I just don't see them bringing a third version of these out unless they completely ground up rebuild what they've created. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the comment section. Do you think the Hyper Adapt technology or the Adapt technology has longevity or not? Or is it something that's going to be kind of forgotten? I still love where Nike's head's at with the project. I love the idea of everything that it offers. I just don't see it lasting much longer. I forgot to mention the Air Jordan 11 Adapt as well. That one released $500 price tag, and they're sitting like, I saw the last sold one in my size was like $380, so kind of under retail, definitely not going over, unfortunately. But kind of a cool technology. Love the idea of it. I still want to love it. I don't think the masses are going to be able to pick this one up. The price tag's a little bit too high, and if you really have people that can't put on their sneakers, and the Adapt is like one way to go, but they obviously have other technology that they've created to be able to have easy slip-on sneakers, so I don't really see it as a valuable functional product for most of us out there, unfortunately. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like on the video. Much appreciated if you guys do that, and subscribe if you guys are new to my channel. Number one, we have the Nike Joyride. You guys probably saw this one coming from a mile away. It was one of those technologies that I was super excited that I got a pair of them, and then after I got them, I was like, wait a minute, it could be good, felt kind of fun, but definitely brought some joy, but then it sparked other things other than joy, which really is why I think that they were probably pulled off the market only 3 years later. So in 2019, Nike said, why beads? They're soft, they're bouncy, and they form the core of an innovative new cushioning system designed to help make all the ways you move feel easy, even running. Well, this concept looked really cool, but after trying these on, I realized the shelf life of the Joyride would be really short-lived. And it appears I was right. As I mentioned, 3 years later, it's gone. They had two major flaws for the consumer. Number one, yes, the super teeny tiny TPU-like pellets that were very soft and springy were very soft and springy. However, if you wore your pair all the way to the bone through the outsole of the shoe, those little beads are now exposed and they're just going to blow out the back of the shoe, and you're going to have kind of a biohazard sort of situation with that. And I think about that, I'm like, can you imagine a kid in the classroom walking in and then having the Joyride beads fall out of his shoe? He'd be scarred for life. The beads would be bouncing and spraying everywhere. It'd be terrible. But anyway, that's the first reason. The second one, which is more of a flaw in the way that they created it, they could fix it, but it's more of a flaw in the way they created it, and that's the top of the footbed was not waterproof. So if you step in water while you're wearing the sneakers, you'll see that the beads are now full of water. And if you remove them from the water and you dump the shoe out, the water's still there. It's like trapped in the shoe. You can't really get it out. It feels like it could be like a biohazard for your foot as well. Just mold growing inside of your like just joyous beads. It just felt a little bit weird why they didn't like create something so it would repel water. At the end of the day, they could actually update this technology and re-release it and fix those things potentially, but honestly, I just don't see it happening. It seems to be like a fun idea, sparked a lot of buzz originally, and then it just kind of went away. I think that Nike's okay though. They're going to be just fine with any of these failures because they have massive successes on their hands with Nike React technology, Nike Air, which is the old one, Nike Air Zoom, which is in all of the prominent like sports shoes, and then Nike Zoom X for the running sneakers as well. Obviously, they have a plethora of different technologies that is very, very successful. So some of them come and some of them go. At the end of the day, they're always evolving and creating new technology, and that is something that I give kudos to Nike for, because they're always innovating, always innovating. And it's fun to see the innovations, even if they come out and they don't have like a real big public like welcoming. Sometimes they're considered failures, like in this video, even though some of them I love. Sometimes they're very, very big successes. But anyway, which way, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. If you guys want to see more of these videos, I love doing them. It's been a long time, so I'm trying to get back in them. But hopefully you guys drop a like if you guys did. And hopefully we'll see you back on the channel for some more of my content. All right, peace guys.